Hello and welcome to today's presentation. We're here today to share some information and answer all of your questions about residential housing at WWU. Today's presentation is part of a series of workshops designed to help you prepared and ready to start your college adventure at Walla Walla University. My name is Trevor Congleton and I'm the Associate Vice President for Marketing and Enrollment Services. I'm here to introduce our subject experts and help answer any questions you may have. Today I've asked Gracie Castillo, our Associate Dean of Residential Life, to talk to us about what new students need to know about living in the residence halls at WWU. We also have with us today one WWU student, Jack Darrow, who will be sharing their experiences of living in the residence halls and giving you some tips and tricks that they've learned by taking advantage of the unique experience that comes with living in our residence halls. At any time during this presentation, if you have a question, you can ask it by typing it in the chat box. We'll get to all of your questions at the end of this presentation, which should take us about 20 to 30 minutes. If you'd like to download the slides that we'll be covering in this presentation, you can download them through the link in the panel on the right side of your screen. Gracie, let me pass it over to you. Why don't you start with introducing yourself and what you do on campus?
Thank you, Trevor. Hi, everyone. My name is Gracie Castillo. I'm an associate dean here at Walla Walla University, and it is my job to oversee the process of students signing up for and being placed in residential rooms. Overall, just overseeing our housing department here on campus. I am also a helpful presence and resource for students throughout the year as a dean for those that live in the residence halls. And if there's anything that's unclear as I go along, be sure to ask for clarifications in the chat. I want to make sure that you feel confident about what your everyday life is going to look like in the dorms. All right, so as you can see here, we have the map. You'll be able to see all 4 dorms here. First up, you can see the location of all the dorms, and we definitely refer to ourselves as a residential campus because we have most everybody is living in university-owned housing, and we have everybody live here usually until the age of 22 or have senior standing. Of course, there are those who have exceptions, for example, those who are living with family members, and you can submit a documentation to live off campus, but usually we have about less than 20 freshmen living outside of the residence halls, mainly because we just don't want you guys to miss out on a vibrant, active, and close community, which is why the majority of freshmen live on campus. All right, so for the residence halls themselves, there are 2 residence halls for men and 2 halls for women. Forman and Conard, as you can see on the map there, are the women's residence halls. Conard houses most of the incoming residents, while most returning residents live in Forman. These 2 halls are connected by a breezeway, and the main entrance for both halls is in Forman. We have several kitchens, 13 laundry rooms, and a fitness center. There are community bathrooms and showers on each hall, and all halls also have study spaces. We have about 3 different room dimensions in the women's halls. Conard South has rooms that are about 12 by 15. Conard North has about rooms that are 10 by 16. And then Forman rooms are 12 by 18. And then as you locate Sittner there, it's on the other side. Sittner is the men's dorm, and it usually houses the majority of our male students. It has a huge laundry room, a study room, kitchen, community bathrooms and showers. Sittner also has a large fitness center and an entertainment and study suite. In Sittner, most of the rooms range from 10 by 16 to 12 by 15 feet, but there are a variety of configurations in the building. And then we have Mesky Hall, which is primarily for our upperclassmen male students.
One of the great things about all of our residence halls is that laundry is free. So the use of washers and dryers is included in the rent, so you don't have to save up your quarters.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's something I definitely appreciated here, or living in the dorms at one point, is that free laundry is a wonderful part of the res life. And we do have front-loading energy efficient washers, so be sure to bring high efficiency laundry detergent for them. And as you can see in our next slide, I want to show you guys a couple of pictures of just some inspiration, but you can get pretty creative with your dorm room. And I've seen some pretty awesome setups over the course of the years. For every room, we provide a bunk bed, 2 desk spaces and chairs, shelves, 2 closets, and 2 sets of dressers. All the rooms also have windows, window blinds, a sink, and a mirror. And then in Forman, some furnishings vary room to room across the residence halls, such as the type of built-ins. But if you have any questions about the rooms, you can direct that in the chat. And at the end of the presentation, we can probably answer some questions about that as well.
Just a reminder, when you're shopping for room decor and supplies, you want to make sure that if you're buying sheets, that you only buy extra long twin sheets, not the regular size twin sheets, as all of the mattresses in the residence halls, both the men and women's, is all extra long. So make sure you get the right size.
Yes, it's an excellent reminder. We definitely only have the mattresses that fit the extra large sheets. And there's also a few other particular things to keep in mind when you're buying items for your room. We recommend that you limit the items you bring and err on the side of necessity, just to simply enhance your move-in experience. And over the time, you can bring more items back over the longer breaks. Something I know we get a lot of questions about this, you can definitely bring a refrigerator, and the measurements can be up to 4.5 cubic feet. And you're welcome to bring a microwave as well. Something also we allow is a power strip in your room, but it has to be grounded and has to have a surge protector and an on and off switch. Because of fire codes, extension cords are not allowed, unfortunately. But and then lastly, we do allow irons. We just ask that you use them in the laundry rooms. All right, and a few things you can bring and some things not to bring. Simply because of fire code and safety reasons, a good rule of thumb is don't bring anything that could start a fire or hurt someone. So anything that cooks food other than a microwave typically is not allowed. Also, IT wanted me to remind you to leave internet routers at home because we have access points in each of the rooms throughout the residence halls. And we don't want anything to interfere with the wireless access provided. Just another reminder here as well is make sure you bring cleaning supplies for your room. We will have some available, but if it's best if you bring your own. That way you can ensure you have it available when you want it. All right, switching gears a little bit. If you do have a car and you want to bring it to campus, you are more than welcome to. We just ask that you register it with campus security, and there is a $45 school year fee for that car registration. And we do have a pretty walkable campus, so we just ask that our students that live in the residence halls only park in their designated parking lots.
Speaking of campus security, parents always ask me how they can know if there's an emergency on campus. Gracia, could you talk a little bit about our emergency alert system?
Yeah, definitely. So all of our students are automatically enrolled in what's called the Omni Alert emergency system. In an emergency or situation that needs a timely alert, students will receive alerts via text messages and emails. So what parents can do is they can opt in to receive these alerts by having their student provide their contact info online. Once this is done, they'll receive the same messages as our students. So I highly suggest everyone log into the campus emergency system and double check that their cell number and email are accurate.
Great, thanks, Gracia. Changing gears a little bit, one of my favorite things to talk about is food, and that obviously means cafeteria on campus, which I regularly dine in throughout the year. Gracie, can you talk a little bit about the meal plans for students living in the residence halls?
Yeah, so all of the dorm students are required to register and enroll in a meal plan, and you can see the options listed here. So students have 4 options, and you can just choose which one fits your schedule.
Gracie, can you talk really quick about what it means when we say flex dollars? Because I know that was a question that came up in an earlier presentation. I think it would be helpful for this group to hear.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well. Thank you for that reminder. The flex dollars are simply just money that goes towards what's called our, it's called the SAC for short. But essentially, it's like a separate little dining area. They do like sandwiches, boba, like quicker food other than the cafeteria. And you can use your flex dollars for that specifically.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, that was great information about the meal plans. Let's talk a little bit about curfews. Can you explain how curfews work for students living in the residence halls?
Yeah, of course. I know this is probably the biggest questions we receive. So all students living in the residence halls do have a curfew, and you can see they're listed there. We have gone away from the class standing and prefer to use the age instead. But the time is dependent on, as you can see, on the student's age. If you are planning on being gone overnight, you will need to fill out a leave request and then get it approved before you leave. And then we also have what's called night checks and leave requests that enable us to check in on the safety of our students at least once every 24 hours. And then another thing I'd like to mention about Residence Hall life is our opportunities for worshiping together. Every week we host 2 worship options in the residence halls. One is put on by AGA or OPS, which is our residence hall clubs that host programming throughout the school year. And then the other option is a hall worship, which is facilitated by resident assistants on each hall. The chaplain's office on campus also provides an opportunity for worship every other day of the week as well. So within the residence hall, students are required to get 16 credits, as you guys can see on the list there, during each quarter. So by the week before finals, those should be completed.
Great, thank you. You just mentioned RAs or resident assistants. Can you cover a little bit about who and what an RA is and what they are responsible for?
Yes, definitely. The dorm would not function without our RAs, our resident assistants, and each RA or team of RAs are assigned to a hall. They are there for the support and safety of each of our residents. Their training includes fire safety, mental health, conflict resolution, spiritual mentorship, and they've also trained in how to access campus resources such as counseling services, disability support services, IT, security, work orders, and so much more. They do a lot for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like they stay pretty busy throughout the year.
Definitely.
Gracie, if a student is listening to this and they haven't yet signed up for a residence hall room yet, what should they do?
Yeah, let's walk through the steps here. So step 1 is to pay the $200 non-refundable enrollment fee. And once that is taken care of, you'll be able to complete the rest of the steps online at wallawalla.edu/housing. And then on the next step there, just making sure you complete that residence hall housing application and you'll receive approval. After that, step 3 is finding a roommate. You have a couple of options for that. You can submit a ticket on Housing Cloud and we will help you pair with someone. Or if you already have a roommate in mind, you can create a roommate group yourself. You just have to make sure that both of you have completed steps 1 and 2. And then lastly, step 4 is when you and your roommate can log in and select a room together. And we just encourage that as you move through the process, you can check your progress through Housing Cloud. And then just make sure you're checking your email, your Walla Walla University email, as we send so many important updates and next steps through there. And then just another important reminder, we're going to talk a little bit about moving in. The move-in date for Jumpstart students begins Sunday, September 21st. If you are traveling from more than 400 miles away, you can submit an early arrival request form through the housing website, and you can even arrive as early as Friday, September the 19th. We just require all students to schedule a move-in appointment. That can also be done in our Housing Cloud system. And then last reminder here, because we also get questions, is that during our Christmas break, we do close from that Friday after finals till the Friday before classes begin.
Before we wrap this up, will you briefly mention some of the other housing options that are available for older students? Typically, those ones that are maybe senior academic status or 22 years old and up, or those who are married or have children.
Yes, of course. So we do have what's called our village housing options. We have houses and apartments that meet a variety of needs, studio apartments, and then as well as 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. All of our units are on a first come first serve basis, so we can't guarantee that something is available for every situation. Excuse me. If you qualify to live off campus for fall, you can contact us at village@wallawalla.edu, and you'll be assisted on the next steps.
Great. Thank you. Now we are almost ready to open this up for questions, and I see that you guys have been asking them as we've gone along, so feel free to keep putting them in the chat box, and we'll get to them here in just a minute. But before we do, you can see that Jack is here with us. Jack is a recent graduate of Walla University that got his degree in product design, and he's currently pursuing his MBA at WW, but he also has an important role that he has in the residence halls. What is it that you do, Jack, at the residence halls?
Yeah, so I'm a resident dean of programming, so I help with OPS, AGA, and some of the event planning.
Awesome, which we love having you on campus, so thank you for doing that for next year's students. And thank you for helping us today. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience living in the residence hall? Do you have any tips or tricks for dorm life for students that may be moving in for the first time?
Yeah, I had a really great time living in the residence halls, especially since all of my friends were all in the same building. I feel like half of the fun here is being able to make friends and hang out with them, which is pretty easy to do when they live next door. In terms of any tips, I'd highly recommend getting to know your RA since they can answer a lot of dorm questions that you may have starting out. Me personally, I became really good friends with my freshman year RA and it made the year go a lot smoother.
Awesome. That's a good tip. Can you tell us a little bit about eating in the cafeteria? Because that's a question we get a lot from students, like, what's it like? Do you like the cafeteria? How's the food? And then do you have any like favorite meal or cafeteria hack? For me, the cafeteria hack that I like the most is combining our unlimited soda fountain as well as our ice cream machine, and then getting like unlimited root beer floats throughout the week. I'm just kind of curious, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, for sure. I really love the cafeteria as a place to kind of hang out with friends and meet new people. I think my personal record staying in the cafeteria is about 2 hours. The cafeteria has a lot of different options, from the pizza station to the salad bar, but my personal favorite is probably the sushi bar.
Awesome. That is also one of my favorites. It's a good place to have a good lunch.
Oh, yeah.
Gracie mentioned a little bit ago that we've got our residence hall clubs, so AGA and OPS. Can you talk a little more about those clubs and some of the activities that they do throughout the year, and maybe share with us what your favorite activity is in OPS?
Yeah, the Women's Club is Aleph Gimel Ayan, or AGA. All residents of the women's residence halls are automatically enrolled as members. AGA organizes a variety of events throughout the year for the women living in the halls, including weekly Monday worships, bonfires, exercise classes, spa nights, and grab-and-go breakfasts. Some of their larger events include the Breast Cancer Awareness 5K, Galentine's Day, and the Women's Wellness Fair. The men's club is called Omicron Pi Sigma, commonly known as OPS. They host several events each quarter specifically for men living in the residence halls. Some events are the hall versus hall competitions, such as a slam dunk contest. They also organize the Mud Bowl, an annual mud football game that tends to get pretty messy. Additionally, OPS hosts a Super Bowl party every year and holds a weekly evening worship program. One of their most popular events is Sonnenberg, one of my favorite events, where the residence halls compete against the village in an ultimate basketball game, and usually brings in a pretty good crowd.
Awesome. And Gracia, since you're more involved with AGA in the year, what's one of the events that's your favorite?
Yeah, definitely. I absolutely love working with AGA. One of the first events that I worked with them was our Galentine's party, a little girls' night, a lot of snacks and food and stuff like that. But by far, the Women's Wellness Fair is my favorite for sure. We reach out to a lot of local stores and local resources, and they come on campus, and it's completely free for the girls. Stuff like, we had a whole company come, and she does skincare products. She makes her own soaps and stuff like that, and she brought samples for the girls. We have some of our clubs on campus, and they come and they share, like our women's ministry club as well. So it's definitely a lot of fun. I love the Women's Wellness Fair. It just encourages the girls and let them know that they have resources on campus and in the community. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate the insider information. Okay. I'm going to open this up for the audience questions in just a second, but before I do that, I want to point out some important dates for everyone to keep in mind. First on that is that Jumpstart begins on Sunday, September 21, and goes until Friday, the 26th of September. This is an important week of orientation for new students, and all incoming freshmen are required to attend. I believe that the first thing is there's a 12 o'clock President's Luncheon on that Sunday, September 21. So make sure you're there for that. That's also the day that the vast majority of students will be moving. Then by Wednesday, September 24th at 4 p.m., you should have paid your down payment, completed any necessary paperwork for student loans, and completed your financial clearance online. And then on Monday, September 29th, you begin your college education at Walla Walla University. Coming up on the screen right here, you can see that we've got some phone numbers that you might find helpful if you have any questions after this presentation, or between now and the start of school. I'd say out of all those, probably the most important number to keep, if you're just going to jot down one, is the 800-541-8900. Again, that's the 800-541-8900 number. The reason why that's one's important is because you'll get a live person that'll answer the phone. If you're not sure where you need to go, but you have an idea of what kind of question you will ask, we can help and send you to the right place. And so that's a really helpful number as you're going about the process. It's staffed from 8 to 5, Monday through Thursday, and 8 to 8 Fridays. And so feel free to call that if you have any questions. We can make sure we get you to the right place. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the audience's questions. And just a reminder, you can ask them in the chat box as we go along. We've got quite a little bit of a list there, so we'll start hitting those in the order that we got them. And then just a reminder that our guests will be joining us as well for this question and answer session. So feel free to ask questions that you'd like to hear answered from maybe Jack's perspective as well as Gracia's. So let's go with the first question. This one's going to be for Gracia. Gracia, a student asks, can I live with my aunt in the Tri-Cities? And those of you that are not familiar with the geography here, Tri-Cities is about 45, 50 minutes away from campus. And it's the Kennewick, Richland, and Pasco, Washington cities.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, honestly. And the biggest reason is simply because of safety. It is a pretty long drive. It's about 100 miles round trip. And during the winter time, the roads can be pretty bad. Plus, you'd just be missing out on a lot of activities on campus. So I just wouldn't recommend it 100% for sure.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, here's another question. Gracie, can you share more about community bathrooms? How many students are in each hallway? Is it one community bathroom per hallway? Asking specifically for the guys' residence hall, but I think that's also a good question for the ladies' residence hall.
Yeah, it depends per dorm. Each dorm has a different layout. They're not exactly the same, but every hall has its own bathroom and community showers and bathrooms as well. So every hall has its designated bathroom and showers, and it just depends on which dorm you're in. Some halls actually, for example, in our Conard building has 2 per hall. So it just varies. Yeah.
All right. Next question is, do we rent out refrigerators for students?
Unfortunately, we do not. We have had some people leave them, but we end up like donating and stuff like that at the end of the year, but we do not have any per rent, unfortunately.
So you want to make sure to bring your own if you can. And then sometimes people will get a storage unit here, or if you get a small one, then you can just take it back home. Make sure it fits in your car. I think that's a pretty good piece of advice. It doesn't have to be a huge full-size refrigerator. I wouldn't recommend that. That'll take up a ton of space in your residence hall room. So even like a half fridge or something like that, you can put in the back works.
And we do have kitchens with refrigerators, so that's also another option. We just recommend you label your stuff. That's it.
Right, great. Next question is, can you use an e-bike on campus to get between classes?
I mean, if you wanted to answer that, yeah.
I can answer that one. So generally, in an e-bike, you probably shouldn't be riding that on the actual pathways because there's a higher chance of hitting people that are walking on them and the sidewalks. So you can take an e-bike and you can get around to your classes for sure. Just going along the road would probably be the best route. I would say though that isn't really a necessity. Like Gracie said a little bit earlier, our campus is totally walkable. So you've got 10 minutes to get from one class to the next one. As I was a student here, I didn't find that to be super challenging to get from one location to the next in 10 minutes. That's enough time to get you from one end of campus to the other. So you don't necessarily have to have that, but an e-bike is great. You can lock that up. We've got some bike racks. You can use that to get around town as well if you'd like to bring that. But I don't think you necessarily have to have that on campus for getting to classes. Let's see. Next question. Are there any air conditioners or heaters in the residence halls, or should people bring a fan?
Yeah, so unfortunately, not all of our buildings have air conditioning. Our only building with full air conditioning is our Foreman Hall building. That has full air conditioning and heaters. All the dorms have heaters. You got to prepare for the winter. We do have some portable AC units that we transfer around on a need basis, but we do not have AC in Mesquite, Sittner, or Conard, unfortunately. So we do recommend, if you can bring a fan, We do recommend that. Unless you're living in Foreman, then you're okay.
Yeah, definitely. I think a fan is a good plan, just kind of for the beginning of the school year.
Right, and then after that, you're good.
And at night here, it always cools down quite a bit. So usually we don't have hot nights, and so having a fan to just bring in some cool air in the evening is a good plan. Also, it keeps air from getting stagnant, so that's always a good thing. Okay, my next question is about the flex dollars. Are the flex dollars reimbursed if there's a balance at the end of the quarter or year? Those are not. It's just charged to you automatically, so you want to make sure you use the full amount of those flex dollars in that quarter that you got them. I personally would recommend getting the plan with flex because I think it's nice to have a little bit extra options for students. We usually give you the default as the middle plan, And so make sure you got the one with flex. The middle plan is a good one to start out with. And then after that quarter, you can kind of see, did I want to eat there more or did I not need to eat there as much? Then you can kind of adjust your plan as you go. Let's see. Next question is, I have 150 credits, but I'm age 18. Do I need to keep track of my worship credits? That's a good question. Can you take that one, Gracia?
Yeah, definitely do still need to. We both look at the class status and the credits. I'm sorry, the credits and your age. But we prioritize the age as well, mostly for this kind of stuff. So yes, you would still need to track your credits.
Great. All right. Let's see. The next one is, can I bring an induction stove, the kind that doesn't heat up itself, but cooks food like a microwave?
I think we would just have to look at what it is exactly. If you want to send an email to residencehalls@wallawalla.edu, if you have like a link so we can look at it, review it ourselves. Usually we err on the caution of don't bring any other additional cooking appliances that isn't a microwave. But if you want to email us with some more questions, send us a link of what it is specifically, we can review it. But I would probably be more on the sides of probably not.
Right. Next question is, do incoming freshmen have to bring their own lamps for lighting?
That's up to you. I mean, we have, lighting in every room. If you want to add a little more decor, I know a lot of the girls like to add more of the yellow lighting because they don't like the brighter lighting that we have in the dorm sometimes. So it's up to you if you want to just use it for decoration and stuff like that. Or actually, in each desk, usually there's the light under like the shelves. There's a light on top of the desk. So it should be good, but if you want some extra lighting, then you can bring some more. That's completely up to you.
If you want a little more ambiance, you can bring
right, there you go, yeah.
Like a floor lamp, the way that it disperses. You're welcome to do that if you'd like. All right, next question is there a way we can get an actual picture of the room we reserved so we'll know how to decorate it?
Yeah, definitely. If you want to shoot us an email through residencehalls@walla.edu, I can send an RA up there and take some pictures of it for you. But yeah, mostly in, I believe, like Foreman, Connor, they're all pretty similar of a layout. But yeah, if you want to shoot us an email, we can look up which room you've reserved and try to get some pictures for you.
And I put the residencehalls@walla.edu, I put that in the chat box so you can have that email address if you guys have questions that help with the residence halls. And they're checking that every day right now, not on Sabbath, but like all the other days, because we are getting lots of questions right now about the living accommodations. So feel free to send it there. They're happy to help you. Let's see. Next question. Sorry, I'm jumping back and forth with the screen, so take me a second to find where I left off. There we go. I found it. Is it a requirement to get a roommate? That's a good question.
Yes, we do require all of our residents to have a roommate in order to reserve a room. It's just more of based on availability and that kind of stuff on campus. We do get pretty packed up and we're, getting to our limit here real soon. So we do require that everyone has a roommate at first. Yeah.
And I'd say too that some students, especially if they don't know someone, they can be kind of nervous about that. But I actually would say it's actually a really good thing for a couple of reasons. One is it gives you a chance to meet somebody brand new and kind of expand your social network, which is really helpful. The other thing too is one of the things that we're finding for a lot of students that are coming to us is that they struggle with some depression, anxiety, different things like that. So it's kind of nice to have a friend that lives with you so you're not alone. Yeah. And so those are two things I think are important about having a roommate.
For sure.
Okay, looks like we got two questions, so I'm just going to summarize this into one. Related to the early move-in request for those students that are living more than 400 miles away. What's the name of that form and where can they find that, Gracia?
Yeah, it's online. You can look up. It's just early arrival request. And then I can also email it to you privately if you want to send your email privately, and I can also send it to you myself. But yeah, it would just be our early arrival request. And to arrive, ask more details and making sure that you're aware of the timing and all that kind of stuff as well.
Great, thank you. Next question is, are the residence halls closed during Thanksgiving break? I know you mentioned that during Christmas they actually closed down and then reopened. What about Thanksgiving?
No, we're open during Thanksgiving break and throughout the rest of the year. The only time we ever close the dorm completely is during that Christmas break. So Thanksgiving break, we do have a lot of international students, so we end up having the dorm open.
Great, just marking some more questions that are coming in. Okay, next question. What does dorm life look like during the summer? If a student does not attend summer class, does the student have to move out of their room? Also ideas for short-term storage if appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, during the summer, it's just pretty quiet, nothing crazy. A lot of the students, the only requirement we have to stay in the dorm is that you have to be enrolled for fall classes, and then you do have to be financially clear from the previous year as well. So those are some of the requirements. And then you either have to be enrolled as a student or you have to be employed. So you have to have a job on campus, in order to stay in the dorm.
Right.
And then, sorry, the storage question real quick. We do have storage. So we have summer storage and we have certain dimensions. You can find that all online as well. And you just sign up for it before you move out. You can put some stuff in and whatnot.
I think a good rule of thumb too, I think you mentioned this earlier, is, like if you're going to stray on one side, stray on like not bringing up as much.
Right.
Always bring stuff up later when you go home for Thanksgiving break or Christmas break if you need to add some stuff. But I think trying to keep it to a lower amount is a good idea.
For sure.
And if you need something, you can always grab stuff. We've got a lot of stores close by, and of course, Amazon is only a click away. So you can always get the stuff that you need. But that way, when you do have to like move your stuff out, if you're headed back home, it's easy to just pile it all into one car and head out. That way, you don't have to like a U-Haul or something like that. And there's not a huge amount of space in there either. Remember, you're sharing that space with someone else. So trying to keep things like to a lesser amount is probably a good idea, rule of thumb. That'll help with the move-out process as well. Next question is, how old do you have to be to live in the village housing? So off-campus housing. You know that one?
Okay, sorry that my audio was a bit weird. Yeah, 22. So we do have our limit of you either have to have 136 credits or you have to be the age of 22. Sorry, 136 credits is a senior status, and then or the age of 22 to be off campus or village housing.
Great, still just flagging questions that are coming in. Let me just flag a couple more. Okay. And then let's see, next one. Here's a good question. It says, what do you guys think is the most important thing to bring for a first year? So I don't know if Jack, you want to jump in on this one, Gracie, you jump in, and then I'll give my opinion too.
Yeah, I could jump in real quick. I would recommend I use like my fridge and microwave a lot. I brought like an extra like memory foam topper for my mattress, make it a little more comfortable for like at least my needs. And then if you want it to smell a little nicer, I like a diffuser, obviously no candles, no open flames here, but like a diffuser is a good option.
Great. Gracia, did you have one?
Yeah, I mean, all great suggestions. I definitely think, the mini fridge is nice because you can have your personal items in there, some quick snacks if you need it. But it's nice to have the dorm kitchen as well if you need to. But overall, just anything that makes you happy, really. Like I'm big on, making the space your safe space and homey. So yeah, if you want to do that, make sure you bring like a few decorations and stuff like that. Yeah.
All right, my advice is going to be a very practical one. Actually, there's going to be two things. One is bring something that you can carry with you to the shower. So like a shower basket or something like that, I think is a good one. Because otherwise you're going to be juggling all of your hair stuff, body washes, those kinds of things as you're going down the hall. So like a little shower caddy, great idea. Second one is for your laundry. So either a laundry basket or some kind of bag that you can take with you down to the wherever the closest laundry is for you on your floor or in the residence hall. And then that way you've got something to put it in and then also pick up all your clean clothes and bring back. So those would be my like practical things that I'd recommend you bring for not just your first year, but for every year after that as well. Okay, next question is the cafeteria open on the weekends? Good question.
There we go. Is the cafeteria? I believe so. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, during the
I think the hours change; they vary.
Yeah, But generally speaking, during the normal academic year, it is open. They do close down during breaks where they're not open. And so for the times that students are here in session in classes, it is open over the weekend. Got to make sure you can get some of that food. Okay, next one. On move-in day, is it okay for the parents to help their kids take stuff in the rooms?
Yes, of course. We just ask that as soon as you come in, you check in with our front desk, and we'll also have our RAs there ready to help you out. And then any guests that are helping you move need to have a visitor's pass on. So we either have like a lanyard or like a sticker or something like that the day of. And as long as they have that, they are cleared to help you move in. And we just have our hours. So no males are allowed in the female areas past like 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and vice versa, just to, out of safety and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll have our hours posted, and as long as you have that visitor's pass, then you're good to go.
And finally, is there a length of time that they are only allowed to stay there, the parents that are helping to move in and like get their room set? Or like, are they able to stay for most of the day, or how does that work?
Yeah, we just have, for example, like our hours. So if they're going to be helping move things into the room, it would be until 9 p.m. But if they want to hang out in the lobby, have more conversations, our lobby area is open until 11 p.m.
Good answers. Let's see. Next question is, do you have to leave campus every holiday? Gracie had talked about this a little bit. So Thanksgiving break, the residence halls are going to be open, so students can still stay in there over that time period. For Christmas break, they will need to vacate the residence hall, since they actually do close down the residence halls on the Friday after finals. And then they'll open the Friday before classes start. So you can move back in at that point. But you can leave your stuff there. Like, you don't have to take all of your stuff in your room out during that time frame. You can just leave it all in there. It's just that the residence hall won't be open. And so you'll need to make sure you're out of there by that Friday. And spring break, you guys are open during spring break, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. I know quite a few students will speak for that one as well. Okay. Let's see. How long is this Thanksgiving break and Christmas break? If the flights are too expensive for Thanksgiving, can the students stay on campus? I just answered that portion of it. Where do students leave their personal items between quarters when they return home during the breaks between quarters? You can leave it in your room. You have a locked door. Nobody's going to mess with it. They'll stay in there. Make sure you throw out your garbage, though, before you leave. That's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
You don't want it smelled bad when you get back. And then how long is Thanksgiving and Christmas breaks? Thanksgiving break is roughly about a week in length, basically the full week. And then Christmas break is usually like 2.5 weeks or so. I think. We usually finish somewhere around the 14th, 15th, which is on a Wednesday. And then we'll go all the way until like the kind of the first Monday typically of the general season. Okay. Next question is there storage available for personal items during the summer? Gracie, you said that there is some locations, some dimensions for how much they can actually store there. So it sounds like we got that one answered. Here's a good question. Can students have mini fridge and rice cooker? I know the mini fridge is a go.
Yeah.
That. What about a rice cooker?
The rice cooker should be okay. It really just depends on what kind you're using and stuff like that. So if you're coming in with a rice cooker, so your parents are still there, you have to check it in with the dean, make sure it's good to go. And if you got it cleared by a dean, you're good to go. You should be all set. I just, encourage you to make sure that the dean checks it. But other than that, we haven't had issues with rice cookers. That should be okay.
Awesome. That's a good thing. Next question is, how many showers are in the foreman bathrooms? That's a good trivia question for you.
We have about...
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, let me run and check. No, I believe we have about 4 or 5 showers in Foreman. And Foreman is a smaller dorm, so we don't have as many rooms in the hallways. So about 4 or 5 showers in Foreman.
Great. Next question is there a kitchen, which you mentioned there are kitchens in the residence halls. So you will have access to a kitchen. Or is there a club in which students can learn how to cook? That's a good question. I'm not aware of a cooking club. Are you aware of it?
I'm not. We've actually, our new AGA president has spoken about doing some kind of like cooking classes and stuff like that for the girls. So we have talked about it. So definitely, if you're part of if you do end up coming for the fall, you might have some cooking classes. Yeah.
I think that we should start a cooking club would be a good plan, and then I'll start an eating club, and then
I love that.
All right. Next question is, can you bring a portable window AC?
Unfortunately, no, we do not allow that. It is a hazard. It's just a fire safety hazard.
It's good to know. And like we said earlier, I don't think that it's going to be like it's not going to be crazy hot by the time you get here. It may get a little hot in the middle of the day, but like we said earlier, it cools off quite a bit in the evening and at night. And so I think if you just bring a room fan with you, you should be fine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry. I did that as a student, and it worked out just fine. Next one is I plan to join campus around the 17th of this month, so August, but understanding your explanation, it will require some extra fees. Is there any way to pay for it into the tuition? Because I know they have to pay like a room fee if they arrive too early, which coming a month early would definitely fit that.
Correct. I would suggest please just like email us privately through residence halls, or just email us through residence halls. Give us more of an explanation about your situation. Financially, I mean, I can't give the final say on the financial department, but I do know we submit charges on a weekly basis over the summer. So just, yeah, if you can email us with about your case, then we can probably talk about it some more.
And I'm gonna hazard a guess that it probably can't be rolled up into your tuition before the school year starts, and your tuition is reliant on like when you're actually in school.
Correct.
So it probably wouldn't be able to just be rolled forward like that. But I'm not the financial person, but that was just a guess.
Right, yeah.
Let's see. Is there such a thing as too much decor? I guess that depends on the eye of the beholder, I'd say. So somebody would say, yes, any decoration is too much. And then others would say, you can never have too much. So kind of.
Right. We do actually have some regulations against this, just because of fire hazards, fire safeties. So if it's covering, I believe, wow, we were going over the handbook today as well. There is a certain amount of the wall that has to be clear or, yeah, visible. So yeah, and then we also don't allow like any fabrics and stuff like that to be on the walls because of fire hazards and fire safety. Yeah.
So making sure you're watching the fire hazard thing. So I guess the answer then would be yes, there is too much. There's a thing that's too much.
Yeah. And we do have our handbook in the online, so if you want to check that out, you can read up more on that.
All right. Let's see. Is it that air conditioning is not needed? I'm trying to understand why there are no air conditioning units. Yeah, it's generally not needed during most of the school year. So winter and spring quarter, especially early spring quarter, you're going to be wanting to use your heater a lot. The back half of the fall quarter, you want to use your heater probably. So we don't really need to have the AC units. So I think you're going to be fine, like we mentioned a number of times. So I wouldn't worry too much about that one. Bring a fan, you should be good to go. You can put it up against your window and bring the cool air in. Okay, can you share a little more about the menu? Oh, on the cafeteria, I'm assuming. Do you serve fish? What if I don't eat what you serve? What options do I have for food? Okay, so I'll kind of tackle this, Gracia. Jack, feel free to jump in if I miss anything. Basically, any of the food that's going to come on your meal plan, it is all going to be vegetarian food. So we do not actually serve meat on campus, and you actually can't cook the meat in the residence halls either. Reason for that is like food illness and foodborne illness kind of things. And so no meat is on campus, so everything's going to be vegetarian. The nice thing, though, that I found is that they have a lot of different options for food in the cafeteria, and they'll change that up depending upon the day. Jack mentioned that they have sushi. That's all going to be vegetarian sushi. So for those students that are carnivores and like to eat a little bit of meat, we do have some places that are fairly close to campus if you want to do that. You can walk down to Rogers Bakery. It's probably one of the closest places that serves meat products. And then also we've got a number of fast food places down by Walmart.
Trucks.
And food trucks as well. They don't come here to campus, so you may have to like drive there or ride the local transit. But food trucks are great. So lots of different options that way. But we try to give you lots of different things to eat throughout the academic year. Also, like we mentioned, Flex is a good one that gives you some additional options for food and drinking. Okay, next question. Can I bring a water kettle?
Yeah, you're all good with the water kettle. Yeah, that's good.
And then next question is, are the dorm beds elevated? Must they be bunk beds?
So at first, just how we set them up for everybody are bunk beds. But if you and your roommate are like, yeah, we don't like this, you can take them down. You can loft them. We also have like bed risers. But any kind of like tweaking that you're making to the beds, it has to be provided by us. So we do have our own stuff. You just have to request it for the lofting, for the bed risers and stuff like that. But no, you can switch it up. Bunk beds is just how we provide it at the beginning.
I can remember when I was a student, back a long time ago now, but I tried both in the room. I actually like the bunk bed better because you have more floor space.
That's
So if
true.
you bring like a little couch or something, you can fit it in there. Whereas if you put your beds down, it's a little bit more challenging. It takes up a lot more space.
Oh, harder, yeah.
That depends on personal preference, but that was mine when I saw it. Let's see, next question. Will this webinar be available to view later? If it's the first part, yes, I will talk about that here in just a minute, but we are going to have a copy of it so you can watch it later. Next question is, how early can my son move into the residence hall? He's a freshman. That's going to depend on if you are within 400 miles or farther than 400 miles from campus for when your move-in date is. Grace, you want to talk about that? I know you mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, so we do, all freshmen or any new students come earlier for that Jumpstart week either way. The general move-in day is that September 21st on that Sunday, but like Trevor mentioned and we mentioned a bit earlier, if you're over the 400 miles away, we do provide like for no charge housing for you Friday the 19th if you need more time to move in.
Great. I know that we've gotten this before. It's not a question, but I'm going to throw it out to you. Sometimes we have parents stay in the residence hall until they leave, and sometimes they're there for the weekend or whatever. What's the stance?
Unfortunately, yeah, we just don't have the room. We do have like guest housing. So Village Housing provides some like guest rooms that we have that they use a lot throughout the year. So online, you can also look that up on our Walla Walla site. Just look for guest housing and you can sign up for that through them. If you don't want to get a hotel, it's usually a bit cheaper as well. But we don't have enough room for housing in the dorm. We already have a lot of students moving in right now. So yeah.
No, there's lots of hotels too that are locally that aren't too far away. You also can look there. They're within like 5 minutes drive of campus or less. Let's see. Next question. Looks like there's a couple of people I saw these that were asking to be sent the early move-in request.
Perfect.
I don't know if you've seen those, but Gracie can grab them after the presentation is over because we still can have access to the chat box. So I'm sure that she'll try to get those down and get those sent to you here maybe tomorrow or within a couple days. Let's see. Next question is, can we go out of town during weekends? That depends if you're going overnight or not, right? There's a special process if you're going overnight and not going to be in the residence hall for check, or if you're going to go just to a local place or maybe Seattle for the day and then come back. That's fine. You don't need to get any special permissions for that. But what do they do if it's going to be an overnight trip?
Yeah, just for an overnight, we ask that you submit what's called a leave request, and it has to be submitted before 9 p.m. the day of. So let's say you're doing 1-2 nights, that's good. But our requirement to be in the dorm is that you have to at least be staying in the dorm 4 nights of the week. So you can submit a leave up to 3 nights, so the whole weekend if you'd like.
All right. Next question is, if I plan on moving in on Sunday, 9/21, which is the move-in day, do I need to have a move-in appointment?
Oh, I lost that question. It's okay. And I was trying to, I don't know where it's okay. You do have to have an appointment. So on Housing Cloud, you'll be able to see in your own system. It'll open up on September 12th, and you can, one of the tabs there on the side, it says schedule move-in, and you'll have options for every day and then what time slots and whatnot.
Sorry, I threw a loop on that one for you because I was running past the ones that were related to the breaks because we already answered that.
Oh, good, yeah.
So my bad for jumping 5 questions down. The next one is, are there any security camera surveillance in and outside of the dorm building?
Yeah, so we do have cameras outside all around the buildings, and we have cameras in the lobby area. And then obviously, due to privacy, we do not have cameras in the hallways or anywhere else.
Okay, great. So kind of a safety thing, so I would have.
Of course, yeah.
I know that we've used them in the past. That's been a really helpful. Let's see. Next question. Are we allowed to put thumbtacks on the wall, or do we need to use the removable sticky pad?
So it depends what room you're in. Some are brick, so you can't even do the thumbtacks. So you might need the command strips and stuff like that. Command strips are probably the best option. They're just a little easier to put on and remove. And if you do have a drywall, then yeah, that's okay.
Right. Next question is, are you allowed to have a TV in your room?
Yeah, most of Sitner, they all have TVs in their rooms for sure. So yeah, that's all okay.
All right. Next one is, what do you recommend using to hang? Because on the walls, you already mentioned command strips.
Yeah, command strips for sure.
We'll pass that one. Next question is, I heard the cafeteria is closing down this upcoming year for refurbishment. Is this true? So you've heard correct. They're going to be doing some big remodeling to that building, but we are still going to have food available. I think the cafeteria actually will still be open next year. We're going to try to do some of those cafeteria-related things in the summertime when we don't have nearly as many students. So I think for next year, you should be totally fine. If for some reason they do close that down, there'll be some other place that will have to be eating. So we'll make sure that you're getting all those meals that you're going to be paying for. So don't have to worry about that. Next question is, during move-in day, is it usually cramped in the hallways?
It can be. I think it depends what time you decide to schedule your appointment. But I know year to year, sometimes it changes. Sometimes the majority of people like to come super early or midday. Usually I think midday is the big chunk of it. And then I know Jumpstart, they have a lot of programming beginning that evening, afternoon. So a lot of people might be doing that instead. So it really depends. Sometimes it varies, honestly. So it might be a little bit busy, but we do have people helping. I know Jumpstart leaders wanted to have some staff coming to help as well. So hopefully it won't be too bad.
Let's see. Next question is, can each dorm room accept 2 mini fridges? So in essence, it's a normal size fridge if you get 2 minis in there.
But individual, yeah. No, you definitely can, for sure. I know people like to have their private things, so yeah, that's okay.
Let's see. Next one is, are there any common problems for housing? That's a good question.
Broad, yeah.
That's a pretty open-ended question.
Yeah, broad. Yeah, I mean, it depends. Yeah, I'm not too sure where, yeah. If you want to email us again with more questions about that, I'm happy to answer.
Yeah, if you want anything more specific, I'm not sure. I'd say it really just depends on the resident, like whoever's living in the residence hall. I don't know that there's a lot of common problems. I don't think.
Right.
It just depends. Let's see. Next question is, there's a question about the inside of the boys' residence hall, but they didn't complete the question. So if you have a question about a particular thing in the men's residence hall, put it in there and we'll look at it. But I don't have enough information on the question to be able to answer. Next one, can you Grubhub or get delivery foods from outside delivered to the residence halls?
Yeah, for sure. I think on the weekends especially, I see a lot of that. Our only requirement is that they can't come inside, so they do have to leave it outside.
You want to make sure you meet them out there, don't you?
Yeah.
Next one that says, I've heard that we can apply for jobs in and out of campus. Would date interviews be in person or online? If it's in person, would interviews be on the same day of move-ins? So usually for most of those, you can find those all at wallawalla.edu/job scene. So JOBSCENE. Maybe Chris or somebody can put it in the chat window for me so everybody can see it. But that is a good place to look to see what jobs are available. They have ones that are currently available and then ones that will be available for the fall. So you can look and review those. They change just about weekly, so you can kind of stay caught up with that. And they usually have instructions for how to apply for the job. There's also some jobs that are off campus as well that you can apply for. So it really kind of just depends on what job you're looking for, on if they're going to want an in-person interview or not, or if they want to do it online. So just check with the individual person that's posted the job, and it could go either direction. But I certainly don't think a lot of them will be having their interviews on because we know that's a pretty busy time for students. And that's when Jumpstart kicks off. So we know that for all the incoming freshmen. Next one, should I bring a vacuum or broom to clean the residence hall room? Tracy said they've already got vacuums. You may have missed that at the beginning, but they've got vacuums you can go down and get from the front desk at the residence hall. So that's a good place to do it. You can bring a broom, I guess, if you wanted to.
Yeah, and we have brooms as well. So. Yeah.
Next question, if we cannot find a roommate, will you pick one for us and share the contact information?
Yeah, if you can't find a roommate and you want us to help you out with that, so on Housing Cloud, you can submit that ticket on there. It's one of the first it's the only tab there that shows up, and you can request it. We'll add you to our list. Just make sure you filled out that resident bio that's in your application. And then, yeah, once we send you, hey, we paired you guys, we send usually they consented to sharing like their Instagram or their email, then you'll be able to see that as well.
Next one, considering that we can bring TVs, can we also bring Blu-ray and DVD players? That's a yes. You can bring those.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, otherwise your TV will just be black. Who wants that? Next one, can my child bring a small air fryer or small instant pot?
Yeah, so air fryer is good. The only thing that our requirement really is what we go off of is that you can't have any open heated flames. So just no open flames and you're most likely good. But still, either way, just make sure you get it checked with the dean so that you don't get it confiscated pretty much.
Yeah, don't want that. Next question is, what are the best study spaces in the residence halls?
Ooh, there's so many spaces. I think that's what I love about each dorm. There's so many unique spaces and like little areas. It depends. It depends if you like it completely quiet. It depends if you like a little bit of like noise or some friends around that you could study. We have some rooms that have a lot of like whiteboards. You can do, math or whatever you're doing and study there together. So yeah, it depends per building. I think there's a lot of areas for sure.
All right. Looks like we're getting close to the end of the question and answer period. If you've got a question that you haven't asked yet, feel free to jump in there before we're done. But I'll keep moving. Can we have Amazon packages delivered before move-in date to the residence hall?
Unfortunately, no. So it wouldn't be until you're a resident, until you're moved in, because we do have what's called our Easy Track It system that won't get started until you're moved in.
Good answer. Next question. Who cleans the bathrooms and how often are they cleaned?
Yeah, so we do have a whole custodial team for each individual dorm, and they clean it pretty much every day. Yeah, if not every week.
Then there's a question. Can you have a cat in your residence hall room?
So we do not allow pets. The only kind of pet we allow is a fish, and we do have like tank size requirements. But we also do allow what's called ESAs, so emotional support animals, but you do have to get those approved beforehand through our disability support services team.
I've got 2 more questions left. Can I start applying for a job right now? I'm a transfer student. Yes, you're welcome to do that as long as you are admitted for the upcoming quarter. You are able to start applying for jobs right now. So a good time to start looking is actually right now. Look about once a week, apply to the jobs you're interested in. I give a piece of advice: don't be picky with your first job, just get a job. And then you can be picky for your second job. But get one that's most important first. Next question, are freshmen able to work at the Atlas or off campus? I don't believe there's anything that says you can't work at the Atlas. You'll just have to try to compete for jobs like everybody else. For that one, you can talk to them and see what they say. I'm sure if you have prior barista experiences, that you probably would be more likely to get a job there. But if you don't, just go chat with ASWU. They're the ones that run it, and you can find out more information if you want to work there. And in terms of working off campus, totally able to do that. The university doesn't offer shuttle service or anything to off-campus employment, so you need to figure out your own transportation for that. But you certainly can get a job off campus. There's quite a few different places around town. I know that we've had some students working at Ross, Marshalls that are local, Old Navy.
Starbucks.
Yeah. So there's a number of different places you can get jobs at there. I got another question while I was talking. Can we have packages sent to our building once we become a resident? If so, how would we put the university address? That's a good question.
Yeah, you can definitely have packages sent. We have our front desk workers who get them checked in each building, and then just use separately whatever building you're living in, whether that's Foreman Conard or Sittner or Mesquite. They each have their own individual address that you'd be putting on there.
Awesome. And guess what? That brings us to the end of the question and answer period. A big thank you to all of you that put in your questions, and also to Gracia and Jack that helped to answer the questions. Appreciate that. I hope all of you found this helpful and that you feel ready to move into the residence hall with confidence for this fall quarter. I want to remind you that we've got 2 more presentations coming up for our undergraduate students, or those that are getting their bachelor's degree. The first of which is how to receive financial clearance, which will take place next Wednesday on August 13th. And then the one after that will be on Wednesday, August 20th, where we'll be hosting a workshop focusing on preparing you for fall quarter, where we'll have a few representatives from across campus to give you the inside scoop on their departments and answer your questions, such as, do you need to have a physical and immunization record before coming to college? How do you get your ID card, etc.? Then on Wednesday, August 26th, we'll have another presentation, but that's just for graduate students, those that are getting a master's degree or a doctorate degree, and the information that they need to know before they start school. So the next 2 ones will be critical for all of you that are undergrad students. If you'd like to attend these online presentations, you'll need a separate registration for each of them, and you can sign up for them at wallawalla.edu workshops. We'll also be sending out some emails to help remind you that they're coming up too. So just like this one, we send out emails, we'll send out those as well. Let's see. Also, if you haven't yet had a chance to make a campus visit, I'd highly encourage you to do so. You'll have the opportunity to either visit us virtually or in person, and during either of these visits, you'll be able to get a tour of our campus, meet with academic departments you're interested in, and you can even get your financial questions answered with a one-on-one appointment with a financial. You can learn more about your visit options and sign up at wallawalla.edu/visit. You may be able to help with some of your travel expenses, which you can find that information on the website. Campus visits for students coming for fall of 2025 will be available up to 2 weeks before the start of the quarter. So feel free to schedule a visit between then. Let's see. Also, we'd love to have your feedback about today's presentation. When we sign off, please take a moment to take a brief survey at wallawalla.edu/comment. Again, that's wallawalla.edu/comment. We want to make sure these presentations are as helpful as possible, and your feedback is really valuable to us. We read all of the comments that come back in. So if you could do that for me, I'd really appreciate it. And then I know this question came in earlier. For those that may have joined us late, if you'd like to rewatch this presentation, we'll have it posted online at wallawalla.edu/workshops. Again, wallawalla.edu/workshops, all one word, within about a week of this presentation. So you can find it there. Think of something you forgot to ask, you can always give us a call or email us at info@wallawalla.edu, or send us a direct message on Instagram or Facebook, or call us on that 800 number that we gave you. Before we go, I just want to say a big thank you to Dean Castillo and Jack for joining us today. Also, a big shout out to Chris Drake, who you haven't seen, but he's been the producer for this evening's online presentation. And also a giant thank you to all of you who joined us this evening for the presentation. We really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us for a little information. And we're looking forward to getting to know you and having you on our campus this coming fall quarter. We hope you have a wonderful night.